Welcome back. All right, we pick up on this issue of the Finance Minister, a very important issue. Will he stay? Will he go? Now, his future does hang in the balance. And with me in studio, I have Professor Ndletyana, Dr. Ndlozi. Dr. Ndlozi from the EFF, and of course, I have my colleague Devin Murigan. Dev, I want to pick up with you. The finance ministers that have come and go, that period, that uncertain period at the time that they were let go, what happened to the markets? Remind us, and are we likely to see the same pattern of events follow suit here?
I want to start with your last point, Kole. Let's go back to December 2015 when we had the so-called Nene-gate and the former President Jacob Zuma removed Nhlanhla Nene from the finance portfolio. Now, this is what analysts say. Back then, you had a scenario where these institutions were under threat. They were in a precarious position. The Treasury, SARS, and the calls on the Reserve Bank, for example, but in particular, the Treasury. When Nhlanhla Nene was removed, you had this rand sink by about 10%. Did we see the same type of sinking over the last 24 hours? Not so. And here's the reason some of the analysts say. Back then, the institutions were far more precarious. We've seen a little bit of a cleanup now, and as far as investors are concerned, the institutions are stronger or getting stronger. It's the institutions, not the man at this point.
So there's confidence on the integrity of the institution, and some kind of stability has now come.
More so, not complete confidence, more so, I would say. So that's the very big difference from an investor point of view on these two spectrums, these two ends, 2015 and now. But we're yet to see what uncertainty will come about if that finance minister is changed in the next few hours, or if he is at all.
All right, Dev. Prof, let's bring you in. Who are the likely successors? I think let's look ahead now. If at all Nhlanhla Nene does get the boot, who is likely to replace him?
Well, there are people who have been associated with the ministry. Barbara Christie's name has been mentioned. She's been doing well in Gauteng. Jonas's name has also been mentioned. So,
but she's only just become the MEC of Finance in Gauteng.
Yeah, but that's really up to the president. You have to choose, especially this government. They've always wanted someone who can be sold to the market, so someone with credibility. So I guess they have a number of people that they can choose. They can even shift people within cabinet. I don't want to speculate. I mean, I don't really have the insight. But it would certainly, obviously, it would make sense to have someone who has a good reputation with the market already.
Dr. Ndlozi, what, in your mind, as the EFF, who are the likely successors, and who are the people that you might accept as credible candidates to take up this position? Are there any people like that in the ANC?
My duty this morning, Ekoli, is to drive the message to the people of South Africa that we have no other choice but to remove Nhlanhla Nene from taking care of state funds. He has lost credibility, he has lost integrity, and he's a liar. He lied in relation to meeting the Guptas, and secondly, has lied about giving us an accountability, something that reflects his attitude towards Parliament, that he doesn't take Parliament seriously. And that's important. If Ramaphosa does not remove Nhlanhla Nene, there is no difference between him and Jacob Zuma, fundamentally, because this would be, I think, the fourth minister that we've been saying to him, you're sitting with people who have no regard for ethics, who have no regard for people's resources, who have no regard for accountability, who are arrogant, and therefore, increasingly, what we are having is an ANC that no longer has a collective of men and women with integrity. You know, earlier on you asked me, you say, no, we are having attitude on treasury because of a cigarette question. Do you know that, by the way, Pravin Gordhan has shares in British American Tobacco? You know, that is one of the companies that is involved in aggressive tax avoidance, including smuggling cigarettes through SAPS vans, as it was revealed a couple of years ago on the borders towards Limpopo. And people forget these stories that were not even revealed by us. Why? We must shift focus. We must not focus on these horses of capital that have lost integrity. What kind of a finance minister do we want? Is it a person that capital is happy with? Is it a person that the markets are happy with, whether he lies, whether he's got shares in questionable companies? No, we want a person with integrity.
While you're on the market element, Dr. Ndlozi, I just want to release my colleague here, Devin Murigan, because he needs to make sure that he monitors whether the minister is still in the country or not. So, Dev, you're welcome to go. Let's continue.
So my point really is that we are sitting with a collective increasingly of individual men and women who have lost integrity, who have been involved in the undermining of the mandate, of the constitution, but above all, who have no sense of ethics. So their ethical failure across the board is one of the greatest indications that this country needs to disabuse itself of the fact that the only options are within the ANC. We may very well have to rethink the entire ANC and think of a different government altogether, give new people an opportunity. Now, this professor, whose analysis is very dishonest, by the way, and I wish I had time to expose the dishonesty, the internal inconsistency of his analysis. But he says there's someone who's looking for that job. That's why they are destabilizing Nhlanhla Nene. No one said to Nhlanhla Nene must lie. No one sent Nhlanhla Nene to lie. All of us, if we even stood, we never stand in parliament to clap hands for a minister of finance. We even stood that day because we were all hoping for a new chapter, particularly in relation to treasury. He comes here, he says somebody wants Nhlanhla Nene's job. Okay, if somebody wants Nhlanhla Nene's job, I don't see a problem with that. People always want jobs in this country, there's high unemployment. But who sent him to lie? Who said you must go and mislead the people of South Africa?
I have to respond to this. These are cheap shots. Someone is spreading the rumor that Nhlanhla Nene has already resigned or asked the president that he should resign. That turns out to be false. Also because the presidency has told us so. So whoever is spreading that rumor is obviously applying pressure on Nene to step aside. Most likely because they want the job, right? So the EFF, obviously, they are out, they are smelling blood. There's a lot of political capital here to gain from besmirching Nene as corrupt. He may well be possibly corrupt. I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying, Mamela, there's value in listening. I'm saying, let's find out. Let's find out what happened. Right? Because you cannot dismiss someone merely on the citation that he met the Guptas. Everyone in that cabinet, almost everyone in that cabinet met the Guptas.
He lied.
So the question is, so this is the picture, right? The picture is that you have a number of people who met the Guptas.
He lied.
But this one person, it's
lied.
Curious. Mamela, man.
Lies.
Why don't you have to be civil now.
But who are you debating with?
You're being uncivil.
I didn't
you are
say
being uncivil.
Must be fired.
You are being uncivil.
He met the Guptas.
You are being uncivil. You are being uncivil. You are being uncivil.
You are being untruthful.
You are being uncivil.
You are being untruthful.
Show a bit of courtesy.
You are being dishonest.
You are being indecent.
I can allow that.
You are being indecent.
I can allow that.
Even if you disagree with me, at least listen.
Yeah,
that's the basic courtesy.
I don't like lies. I don't like to listen to lies. I don't like to listen to people.
Just be courteous. Just be courteous.
Let me give my courtesy then.
Just be civilized. That's all I ask you to do.
There is no civilization in lies. In a propaganda by capital, there is no civilization. I don't bow to lies. I don't bow to dishonesty. We are saying to him in a debate, Nhlanhla Nene lied. He keeps focusing on things we are not saying. Why should we allow a person who lies to stay there? Address that. Because that's the debate. Not he met the Guptas.
So what about the others, though, who have allegedly...
We have come out clear.
You were the ones who said, you mentioned names like Malusi Kigaba and said he was eating curry at the Guptas. He's still the minister of in this cabinet.
Totally, I've been here, my brother, in the same platform. When the cabinet reshuffle happened in Ramaphosa, we rejected Nomvula, we rejected Batabile, we rejected in particular Malusi Kigaba because he lies. We said that then. I was standing here with one of your anchors, and we said the same thing we're saying now about Nhlanhla Nene.
Dr. Ndlozi, the president was clear that this is, quote unquote, a transitional cabinet. So it's not a cabinet that's here to stay. Perhaps it's a cabinet that is going to completely be changed by the time we have the next election, of course, if the ANC wins.
If the president doesn't know what to do if the president doesn't have choices of integrity, of ethics, then he's not the president we're looking for. The people of South Africa deserve better. If he cannot seriously consider that he's got liars around him, people who are willing to break ethics. I mean, Zuma sends you to go do a wrong thing. You do it. Somebody comes on TV and says, no, that's fine because Zuma sent him. How dishonest is that?
All right.
In a court of law, Chief, you are party to crime. You've got an ethical responsibility because you took the oath of office. Zuma doesn't take it on your behalf. You take the oath of office that you will not do wrong things, even if instructed to do so.
All right. Dr. Ndlozi, you've had your say. Prof, this is the time to put your side of the story forward.
Ministers are fired. The president appoints people. But I'm very interested in the rationale behind these appointments. Firstly, as I was saying earlier before I was rudely interrupted, is that you do have quite a number of people who've met the Guptas. This entire cabinet is complicit in approving some of the things that the Guptas got, right? So if you say this one fellow should fall, why not the rest? So for me, it may well be, he admit himself that he met the Guptas when he didn't say so initially. I'm curious to find out why did he lie about this? So I'm interested in understanding, not in joining the frenzy that someone should be kicked out. For me, the truth behind this is more important than the spectacle, than the farce. I'm not interested in the farce. I'm interested in the real reason behind it. Because you have people that are going to be appointed. For instance, there are people now in cabinet who have bankrupted ministries. Nomvula Nomokonyane is there. Water Ministry. But Tabile Dlamini is still there, right? So if we say impropriety is a disqualifier for office, why not get rid of them? So there are inconsistencies here that I say we should look at this holistically. And at the same time, you see, I think it's a little bit complex in that, on the one hand, you are praising someone who saved the country from a possible economic ruin, right? Then the next day, we discover that he told a lie about meeting the Guptas. So all of a sudden, we say he's completely bad. But what about the things that he did? Why not step back and understand what is happening here? Because this picture doesn't gel. For me, understanding is more important than the applause. Understanding. That's where we need to get to, and not join into the frenzy.
So perhaps, Dr. Ndlozi, it's incumbent upon you now to give us what you say you have on good authority about the inappropriate steps that this minister has done.
The time will come. You know, the difference between me and the professor here is that I represent the people of South Africa. I'm not in an academic exercise of, trying to find out.
See, that's the difference.
Comfortable textbook
a vast
analysis
difference
of the world. I represent the people of South Africa. I'm interested in the economic woes that face us, and that the people who lead this country must pass the integrity test, because they control people's lives. Unemployment is rising. We have deindustrialized a long time ago. Poverty is on the rise. And I don't come to national TV to apologize for Nene, or to be an apologist of Zuma or even Ramaphosa's cabinet. I'm saying to you, it's like today somebody wins a marathon. You remember the runner who shot his girlfriend. We were all celebrating him because he was representing the country very well. And we found out he shot someone. Nobody said, hey, let us analyze. Because, he's not all that bad. At least let him still run. There is an injustice done. You understand? That changes our version of the history of your personality.
If you stand for truth, will you take that privileged information that you say you have to the Zondo Commission?
We're working on it. We're waiting for them, okay? All of them to come and line up there. We're working on it. And the most important thing for us is the protection of the people who are giving us information to fight. We've been here before, Chloe. We've been here in this platform where all the analysts were saying we're crazy. We've been here before. We always come out as winners. We're going to stand our ground, and we're going to demand nothing less than a respect for ethics and a respect for integrity. And on Nhlanhla Nene, we're not going to retreat. And it will be revealed. We will move him. It doesn't mean we're going to forget him. As he gets fired, we will follow him with that information.
If he continues to be finance minister and does table
I think
medium-term budget,
I think,
are you going to treat him with courtesy?
No, I think Ramaphosa is going to face a much more embarrassing reality, because that information is just a matter of time. We're not the only people who have it. We're not the only people who have it. And they are going around doing wrong things and hurting people, hurting families. So there are people who are full of vengeance. You understand? So we are handling that information. We put questions to him. He must go honorably.
Let me ask you this. You know, Zizigoto, I interviewed him immediately after Nhlanhla Nene's testimony, and he says, more bombshells will come. I'm interested to know, at least give us a hint of what you're likely to say about Nhlanhla Nene, or what is this big bombshell that is yet to come?
It's not a one single bombshell. It has to do with those meetings with the Guptas. It has to do with the details of what was discussed in those meetings with the Guptas, which we now learn are no longer 6, but 11. At least the ones that we know of. But I'm saying to you earlier, just create a picture in your head. Mcebisi Jonas meets the Guptas for the first time. He goes to his boss. He says, I've met these people. This is what was discussed. You understand? And then he says, hey, let's go to a balcony. In that conversation, he doesn't say, by his own admission, he doesn't say, hey, I've met them as well for 6 times. This is what has happened. This is what has happened. He comes to your show here in an exclusive interview. You put out that question to him. Have you met and had any dealings? Nah, I've not met them except bumping to them because he wants to be a minister of finance or something. He wants to give us a wrong impression. He wants to mislead us about who he is, because everyone else that met the Guptas fell on their sword, at least in the eyes of the public. They have lost credibility. And I'm saying to you, he is worse because he's a liar.
Prof, we know that the ANC top 6 went away for some getaway this weekend to go and discuss important matters. And the understanding is that the Secretary General may not be in the country because the Nhlanhla Nene matter has been concluded. COSATU is calling for him to go. I mean, the writing is on the wall, is it not?
Well, I mean, if they want to get rid of him, they will do exactly that. But I would rather that they give us a more substantive reason than merely meeting the Guptas and lying about it, because that same reason implicates them as well. I'm just looking for something more reasonable. No, he met the Guptas, he lied about it, because all of them met the Guptas. And as I said, I mean, at the risk of repeating myself, that they even approved deals that implicate the Guptas. So if you are to fire someone, and especially someone that you were praising not only last week, that he's done all these incredible things, today you want us to believe that he's this monster, right? There's a certain complexity here that we need to understand. I'm not defending the man, but I'm just saying the reason that you are throwing at us doesn't stick.
And what does this do, Prof? What does this do to the likely people that will go to that commission who have been called upon based on what is now likely to happen to Nhlanhla Nene? So, in other words, simply put, will Nhlanhla Nene being booted out or his resignation being accepted by the president, will that result in the commission of inquiry that's currently underway into state capture not receiving people's honest account of what has been going on?
Well, you would expect them to speak the truth, because what now? This Nhlanhla incident shows that you can't hide it. You can't lie about it. So if you are there, you have to tell everything and everything. So this is a good thing in a way, that if you tell a half-truth or you don't reveal certain things, there are people out there who are watching, who know things about you. So tell the truth. And this is a very good opportunity not to waste, right? That if you are in a way creating a high level of intolerance for corruption, you are raising necessary questions about people's conduct. That's well and good. That's why I agree with Ndlozi, right? But I still want to know why others are spared the same fate that he is facing, because this smacks of double standard. It could be. But they are all public servants. The same principle should apply. They are all public servants. For me, it's the duplicity, the double standard of the ANC. And I've been saying this a lot more consistently, by the way, Ndlozi, perhaps even longer than you on this, that we have, morality does count for something. Morality does count for something. I'm clear about that. But we should be careful of moral outrage without being critical. Yes, he lied, but I'm interested. Why did he lie? Why did he lie? Because reality is a lot more complex than that. There's a reason why people lie. You can accept that they lie, but you still have to find out why they lie. That's more beneficial for understanding. That's the entirety of the truth. That's what academics do. I'm not politicking here. I'm not canvassing for votes. I simply want to understand to get through the truth. That's the difference between me and Ndlozi.
Mr. Ndlozi, would you accept? Would you accept Zweli Mkhize as your finance minister?
Let me tell you, Koli, because no, I don't want to go here without setting some records straight. I don't know who he's talking about, but we never said that there mustn't be a firing of everyone else that did what Nhlanhla Nene is doing. As I said, we've been here. We can go to several statements that we have released, and there's no single one of them that praises Nhlanhla Nene for saving the country from a nuclear deal. We don't have that. We don't do those. I don't know who he's talking about, but me in studio next to him here, who is debating with him, is saying, you don't stick in a cabinet in a country of so much corruption, from councillors up to the cabinet. You don't laugh with corruption. We don't laugh with lies. You don't laugh with people who lie about the business that they do on behalf of the people. You don't laugh. You don't dilly-dally. You cut them. Because you're not going to get the question of corruption right if you don't cut them. So whether it's Malusi Gaba, we've been here. We even told him in Parliament to his face. And we don't just say it here on the studios. We tell them in Parliament, you don't deserve to be here. So I don't know who's Professor talking about. I hope he knows and is clear in his head that it's not the EFF he's talking about. The people of South Africa must know the same way in Nhlanhla Nene, we are saying Nhlanhla Nene must go. We have said that Bathabile Dlamini, Nomvula, as well as Malusi Gaba must go, must fall. Now, I don't have a lot of hope about the collective of the ANC passing the integrity test. Ramaphosa is a president. He wanted to be a president. He has accepted being a president of the ANC, of that collective. We're waiting to see, because this one has failed the test of ethics. He has also been unintegrous. What hurts us the most, he disrespects Parliament. And I challenge him now on national TV to publish that letter that he says he gave us. I'm challenging him now. If he gave the EFF a response, we're challenging him now. It will help all of us, because it's going to reveal answers to the questions that we are asking, because we're interested above all in the content of our questions. So we are challenging him now. Since he was there, he has not given us that response. We have challenged him. I'm challenging him again.
He's put out flat denials that...
I'm challenging him to release that letter to the public if he has given it to us. I'm putting it to you. We have not received that letter. Even after his testimony at the commission, we contacted his office and they said the minister is considering it. We're challenging him again on national TV. If you have given us that letter to our questions, release that letter now.
Gentlemen, I must thank you for your time. Thank you very much for a very lively debate. It's been really an eye-opener. All right, Prof Ndletyana, and of course, Dr. Ndlozi.
I'm civil, you see.
For coming.
You can be civil, yeah, when he likes it.
Permanently civil.
The fact that you shook hands.
I'm permanently civil. Yeah, I'm permanently civil.
All right, gentlemen.